Matt, thanks for taking the time to do an interview. I'm Tom Merrill.
Tom,
Matt, and tell me about your role here.
So I'm currently a junior here at Xavier. I work at the front desk, the circulation desk.
Okay.
And so I help students with any help they may have. They come to the library, they need a book. Their teacher requests them to get a book on reserves, which are behind the circulation desk. So I help them with that. I help them look up books. I help assist them to the books in the library. And really any help I could possibly provide with staplers, any supplies we may have, checking out computers, chargers, whatnot.
So how'd you get into that?
I had a few friends that worked at the circulation desk.
Okay.
And
they said it was the place to be.
It was a place to be. It's a place to be. It's nice, quiet. The staff's really friendly. Megan's awesome. I spoke with Megan about possibly getting a position there because it worked out that I had an internship during the day for this semester, during the day hours of this semester, and it worked out that the later night hours I could work those shifts.
Oh, so cool. What's your internship?
Well, actually, so I was supposed to have an internship, but the internship was not able to go through because their hours of operations didn't line up with my class schedule. So the hours they wanted me to there didn't line up with my class schedule. So it didn't work out this semester, but hopefully next semester.
And what's your major?
A marketing major.
Okay. And where are you from?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Where did you go to high school? I have to ask.
Moeller High School.
Okay, good. The Mighty Men of Moeller.
That's right, yeah.
And what year are you now?
I'm currently a junior.
Junior. Okay, awesome. So was a music professor and now am at the Center for Innovation and teach design thinking and help students, faculty, and staff do projects. We also work with local and regional companies and help them do stuff. So the library is hosting a conference in May, and we're doing this bit. So there's an add-on portion to it that is for people to learn about design thinking. And so the design thinking process always begins with what we call an empathy interview. So there's no secret to that. So I'm going to be asking you some questions about, some of your experiences both prior to being at Xavier and currently at Xavier, and both as someone who helps people find the library, but also your own use of the library.
Sure.
So feel free to kind of just be honest with your answers, and there's no right or wrong. It's just kind of figuring out how you operate in the world of library.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, awesome. So tell us about your earliest memory of using a library.
Earliest memory? Oh, man. I remember not even being in school. I remember dropping my brother off at school, my older brother off at grade school, and my mom bring me into the library because she had to get a couple of books. And I just happened to go to the library with her, and she showed me around, and there were audiobooks that we rented out because I couldn't read, obviously, back then, with pictures and everything. So we checked some of those out, and every now and then we'd probably go like at least once every 2 months or so. Not too often, but we'd swing in there time to time just to check stuff out and just hang out with Mom.
Wow. So you remember actually checking out audiobooks so you could follow along the story with the pictures and somebody would be like reading you a book.
Yeah. So pretty much Mom could throw me in the family room, get that set it up while she cooks meals or does something, so keeps me busy.
Did you have a favorite type of story?
Jeez, that's a good question. Always loved, Where the Wild Things Are.
Oh yeah. Who's that author?
I don't know the author.
Maurice.
Such a long time
Sendak. Yeah. Oh.
I love that book. I remember getting out of the library about 5 or 6 times. My mom kept renewing it, So.
What was it about that book you think that?
I don't know. I just kept reading it. This was when I was a little bit older and stuff, and I was able to read. We read it in class.
Okay.
One of the times we had went to our school library, St. Margaret of York, and rented it out multiple times because it was a book I was familiar with, so I knew what was coming next in the book, and I just liked expecting what was next. So.
Yeah, that thrill of I know what's coming.
Right, I know what's coming, and I started somewhat memorize the words, so I felt like I was reading, you know.
Okay. Oh, cool.
So.
All right, so let's fast forward a little bit, and I'd like you to describe a memorable library experience, and that can be here, or that can be high school, or just take a minute to think about it, and think about something that kind of pops up in your mind.
Whenever I think of library, I think of my grade school library, St. Margaret, York. We had the best librarian, Mrs. Lease, her name was, and every week we'd at least visit the library once as an entire class, and we went there, we checked out books. They had AAR reading, I believe it was called. It was pretty much where you had to read a book and then take a test on it.
Yeah.
And you had to have so many points by the end of the quarter.
Okay.
And so every time we go see Mrs. Lee, she always had the game Scrabble at the end. And so we always play that as a class, and that was always just a blast. So just going to the library and playing that game with Mrs. Lease, I just always think of like the library, like Mrs. Lease.
Oh, what do you think it was about that? What got you?
It was just a break from school. It was a time they had circular tables with me and my grade school friends, and we just got to hang out and talk and play games. Yeah. So it was just a good break from school, honestly.
Okay. So. Even though it was part of school.
Even though it was part of school, right.
So, other than your work schedule, so be Matt the student now, not Matt the person who works in the library, what are the reasons you visit the Xavier Library?
Quietness. I go there to study a lot. It's always dead quiet. A lot of my friends go to the library to study, and it really is, for me, just a study place. Okay.
Do you have a particular floor or a particular...
Yeah, I do. Second floor by the printer. So.
Okay. Is that the old part of the library or the new part of the library?
So it's the old part.
The old part, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And by
the library, like the library itself.
Yeah, and why by the printer?
It's just a set out of the library. There's a bunch of tables and stuff you can sit at, and it's just no one really goes to the second floor as much as the first floor.
Okay. And can you identify what about it? I mean, is there anything other than the quiet that is the reason you like to study there?
Just my sophomore year, my friend just ended up pulling me in there, and we sat down and studied, and just ever since I've just found myself back in that same spot. Yeah. So sometimes I mix it up and go to different floors and stuff, but usually that's pretty low key. There's not too big of a crowd, so I usually just find myself there.
Awesome. So tell me about the steps you take when you're looking for resources at the library.
Well, there's only one real class that I use the library for, and it was a Native American history class, and our teacher had us had one class where a librarian came in and taught us how to look up books and use the resources of the library. So for that one time, I used the resources of the library, which is going online and typing in the title of the book and the author and finding the book that way, seeing if it's even in Xavier's library. If it's not, as we go to Ohio Link and hopefully get a book from outside Xavier's library. But if it were inside the library, we'd write down the call sign and go and look for the book. So
okay, so for your other classes, when they give you work, what kind of information are they asking?
I mean, they definitely do look for you to get like materials and stuff and books and journals, but most of that stuff I honestly find online.
Okay.
Just online copies, not like hard,
Okay, and describe that process. How do you go about finding that material?
So like Google Scholar, using Google a lot, using the online journals on there. Not so much as I should be using Xavier's library for sure, without a doubt, but. Yeah,
and did somebody who taught you about Google Scholar? I'm curious.
Just teachers. Yeah,
teachers told you about it. Okay, your professors said this is it's not like looking it up on Wikipedia.
Right, exactly. They said don't go to Wikipedia, go to Google Scholar. You need a scholarly journal. So
okay,
yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. Is there a time when you were confident that you found all the information you needed when you were using the Xavier Library?
Yes, for sure. Again, back to one class. Honestly, that's the only time I've really checked out a book from here, which isn't good. I should make better use of it. But I got help from one of the libraries actually because I wasn't too good with the call signs and looking up the books and everything. So I was completely lost. But
was that before you started working at the library?
It was way
okay,
before.
good.
It was like freshman year, so
okay.
brand new. I didn't know how to do it. But it was. She typed in the information online, pretty much showed me how to do it, and then guided me to the resources. And those books helped out a lot. I read, I think it was 2 of the books, and then I got like an online journal through Xavier's website. So,
okay. And was there anything that was surprising to you about that experience?
Just how easy it honestly is.
Talk about that. Why?
It's just, I just feel, I don't know. I feel like some people think here that's such a hassle, like look up books. They just want keywords in a specific text that they're trying to get at. And like, for me, honestly, I just never really thought of even going to the library that's supplied here. I mean, they have everything. They probably have all the stuff that I was getting online too in the library, but it's just easier access to the internet for me.
Oh, interesting. So we keep going back to this one class. Can you tell me about a time when you had difficulty finding information in the library?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Or let's expand that to not just the library, but like even on Google Scholar. When you were looking for something and you couldn't find it.
Right. If I couldn't find it, usually I would go to that teacher and ask him for better advice, because I know there's certain keywords you got to type in to get certain results from your searches. So I would go to the professor and ask him, like, I'm typing in this, I'm coming up with all these different things, but it doesn't really relate to the topic I'm trying to get at. Yeah. So I'd ask him or her for specific keywords that they might know of to help me make it more specific.
Yeah.
So.
And so the teacher really provided some help
for sure
there in getting to the right information. Yep. So so if you didn't have that, how do you feel when you can't get the information you're finding?
It just feels like a big room with a lot of books and no guidance. Honestly, like that's what I think of when I walk into the library and I know what I need and it's somewhere out there, but there's thousands and hundreds of books. So I mean, there's there's no way of. You have to have that search engine to really look up the books. Yeah. So. Okay.
I think we covered this, but what do you typically do when you can't find the resources you expected from this library?
So I would go to a professor or now the help desk that I work for.
Okay.
So now I'm helping the people.
You've learned it.
Yeah, so I'm taking that road now.
So have you ever been stumped? I mean, has a student ever come to you for looking for information?
Well, it's my 3rd week, so I haven't had that yet, but I'm sure I will.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So other than a need for information and studying, what might keep you coming back to the Xavier Library and work,
keep
of course?
Me from coming?
No, to coming, yeah.
Let's see. I mean, they've got audiobooks, they've got picture books, magazines, newspapers. You wouldn't have to pay for newspapers. While I'm a student here, I also learned that a bunch of the textbooks that teachers have for courses are actually supplied in the library. So that can save people hundreds of dollars, a lot of money, from renting them or buying the textbooks online, which I really don't feel like a lot of people know about that. So
interesting.
That's huge, especially since I started working here. Like that's a big resource I've been using for sure. Laptops, computers.
Being able to check out laptops and computers, or using the ones that
using the computers that are supplied.
How? So is it? How does the library make you feel?
Makes me feel like I've got work to do. Like, cause every time I come to the library, I've got work to do, and it's quiet, it's relaxing.
Is that a good thing?
It is a good thing.
Like you have work to do to get done?
Get done. Yeah. It allows me the space, and it gives me pretty much a quiet place away from like that outside world. It feels almost like where I can come in and just get work done.
Okay.
I don't have any distractions from friends or anything of that sort. So
good. So it's like this is where my work gets done.
Right, and I feel like I got to put my cell phone on quiet so you don't receive all those alerts because people around you will be like, oh, this dude's phone's ringing all the time, like it's annoying me and stuff.
Yeah.
So I put it on silent, and honestly, most of the time when I get down to it, I just forget about it, and that's really good when it comes to studying because it's a distraction. So,
Yeah.
So
Interesting. If libraries didn't exist, how would you get information?
how would I get information? The internet.
The internet.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there one place you'd go on the internet, or how would you? Where
I'm
would you go?
a big Google guy, so I always
Okay.
go to Google for everything.
Okay. If Google didn't exist, what would you do?
Yahoo, all those search engines, you know.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't know what I'd do if internet was taken away from me and the library was taken away from me. I don't know, professors or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then again, where would they get their information? So.
Okay.
I don't know.
So now these last couple questions, we're almost done. Congratulations. Are sort of forward-looking and ask you to use your imagination and kind of knowing what you know about technology and kind of where we're going in the world. Just dream a little and have fun with it. Don't there's no right or wrong. It's just what do you think? So based on what you know of today's technology, put yourself 10 years in the future, and how do you imagine getting information from the library then?
From the library in 10 years?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I feel like everything's going to become digital.
Mm-hmm.
Technology's growing rapidly. You see a lot less people buying or having the hard copies of books, and more on like iPads, Kindles, their phones. Smartphones are big now, especially with Apple and everything coming out with the iPhones. You can honestly just search things up there and read it on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like in the libraries, it's tough because I always see the library as having the hard copy books and just going in there, renting out the books. But I can honestly see it where it just turns into like a technology like base where you come, rent out laptops, computers. It's just a quiet spot to do research.
Yeah, go with that a little bit more. So what do you think the actual physical library will become if everything's digital and we can get it on whatever device, Apple or somebody comes up with? What do you think the library is going to be for in the future?
So, just a huge room with computers.
Okay.
I don't know, because books, they're all being copied online and on those sources and stuff, and I can just see all books being converted to digital. Correct. Yeah, so.
Interesting. All right, so last question, and you take a minute to think about it. If you were pronounced ruler of the library world,
oh man,
what crazy idea would make finding information easier?
Finding information easier. That's a good question. I would say, is the world considered like on a university, or is it just of all libraries?
All libraries.
Oh man. I can't think of anything better than the simple search engines online.
Mm-hmm.
I really can't. Because it really narrows it down. You type in multiple different keywords and comes back with results.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly within those search engines have like the most popular books that relate to those.
Mm-hmm. How would you see, like, if you could make search engine 10.0, how would it suddenly be? How would you improve a search engine?
To where you literally type in what you need and it just pops up with the like number one source. That's a great question. I don't know, because I feel like it does that anyways.
Yeah.
I'm stumped.
Yeah.
That's good.
No, that's good. Well,
that's a tough question.
Yeah, no, that's
a good question to debate about, though, for sure, because bring in many ideas. I honestly, my personal, I just think of the search engine that Xavier already provides, and most libraries already provide it. So
yeah.
It's a good question.
That's all right. We'll let it keep going. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank
This is
you.
going to help our project move along,
I hope so.
and good luck with your work at the desk. And I hope you don't get stumped
For sure.
in your work.
Thank
And
you so much.
yeah, I'll look
Let
forward
me know
to.
how it goes.
I will. We will.
Sure.
We'll follow up with you. So
Cool.
take care.
Awesome.